Gentlemen, I want to welcome you to my humble home and thank you for agreeing to participate in my wonderfully and lovingly crafted homebrew Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign. Trump, Obama, Biden, and Bush, welcome to the Return of Ceserac.
We really appreciate you having us here, Sean. I assume you've managed to fit us into your schedule now that you've finished up with Knights of the Zodiac?
Oh, yeah. I assume you made a boatload of cash off that.
Trump, take that stupid helmet off. You sound weird.
Fine. Anyway, Sean, I haven't watched it myself. Not my cup of tea, but definitely a smart business decision on your part.
You and your friends are most certainly welcome to be here, Obama. Yes, Trump, I did make a decent pound off of the film. Now back to
Wait a minute. Who brought me to Sean Connery's house? I thought he was dead. Oh, fuddy-duddy, how did I get here? I was literally just at Coldstone getting some chocolate chip waffle cone goodness.
Joe, we literally picked you up from Coldstone 30 minutes ago before we headed over here. I don't freaking understand how you can run a country when you forget something every other 3 hours.
As much as I'd like to get into all of the typical presidential nonsense, we do have a session zero to get started, gentlemen.
What's a session zero?
Obama! I thought you said you ran Joe through the player's handbook.
Technically, yes. I helped him set up his D&D Beyond account and showed him how to open the digital player's handbook. Then I pointed out the most important parts for him to read. In hindsight, I probably should have stayed and made sure he actually read it instead of taking a nap.
Yeah, hindsight is kind of a bitch when it comes to Joe, huh, Barack?
Hindsight is a bitch for Barack when it comes to a lot of things. Obamacare, Joe as a vice president, the surges in the Middle East.
Now hold on a sec.
Marrying a man named Michael.
Okay, we are done with that. Sean, let's get on with this session zero.
Gladly. So, as I explained to you gentlemen over text message, you will all be starting at level 3. What have you all chosen for your class? Also, since we're starting at level 3, everyone here should have a subclass regardless of the class they chose. So what is your subclass as well? While you're at it, give me your character's name and race if you don't mind.
I remember this part. I'm playing a music man. He's from a school that uses fancy words or something. I'm also playing a goat man named Joel Buckling.
So, Joe, you're playing a College of Eloquence bard? You're also a satyr. The shoe definitely fits. I wouldn't be surprised if you had chosen the weirdest instrument possible. Anyway, Sean, I'm going to be playing a war-forged artificer armorer named Bushmaster 2000.
Holy fuck, George, if that name isn't on the damn nose, I don't know what is. You're literally one singular number off of a really fucked up reference. However, we are on to bigger and better things now. I, Donald J. Trump, am going to be playing a variant human vengeance paladin named Pax Ameridona. His backstory revolves around avenging his loss in the grand arena to his arch-rival Rigamus Electionus because he mysteriously cheated somehow.
I knew we weren't going to make it an hour without you shoehorning in an election fraud power fantasy. It can't be helped, I guess. Sean. I'm going to be playing a fallen Asimmer aberrant mind sorcerer. Hopefully I can keep our rabble glued together for this campaign.
Well, it at least sounds like the party is pretty solidly built. Support, tank, damage, healing. All the key elements seem to be in place. Did everybody manage to figure out the D&D Beyond interface pretty well?
That's a big Texas 10-4.
Of course. I've finely tuned the details better than anyone else at the table.
Yes, the interface is pretty user-friendly.
Joe.
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 Joseph! Jiminy crickets, you guys almost made me poo myself.
Well, if you were paying attention instead of trying to catch some Z's, maybe you wouldn't be filling up your depends.
Bush, could you please not use a cell phone soundboard at the table?
Okay, yeah, I apologize. That was completely out of order.
All right. So we're going to go over some key rules to remember during this homebrew campaign. Critical hits during combat will have you roll your damage dice twice instead of the normal once. We will not be using components for spells since you gentlemen are fairly new to the game. A long rest cannot be taken whenever you want to. An adequate amount of time must have passed, or enough events must have happened for one to occur. The money system will only use gold and silver. I'm eliminating copper to make it easier to track for all of us. Also, remember, gentlemen, your actions have consequences. I'm not the type of evil dungeon master to kill you outright for wrong moves and such. However, constant acts of hobo murdering or complete ignorance can endanger you and the whole party. If there's anything I missed here that becomes important later, we'll go over it at that time in detail. Do you guys have any questions about standard mechanics or my homebrew creations?
So, Mr. Connery, how are you alive? I'd like your secret to immortality. I was certain that you had died a few years back.
Joe, that's not Sean Connery, that's Sean Bean. You know, the same guy that played Boromir in Lord of the Rings, ring a bell? He played Ned Stark in Game of Thrones. He's in the famous "one does not simply walk into Mordor" meme.
It's always an enjoyable time watching you do this with him. It's like watching a fat kid chase the ice cream truck and actually expect to catch it.
If that's not the pot calling the kettle, I don't know what else it could be.
I'm not Fatbush. I am peak male performance.
Anyways, Sean, I have some lore questions. Could you tell us a little bit about this world? The overall history stuff we should know going into the campaign as our characters? Anything about the country or nation we are starting in?
Ah, yes. Now that is a good question. The world you gentlemen are in is called Teridia. It is a world kind of like Earth, but between fantasy and high fantasy. The nation you are starting in is known as the Empire of Elysium. The Empire is currently in what would be considered an early Twilight era. It is not yet lost, but it is most certainly fading without assistance. As far as world lore goes, 1,000 years ago on Teridia, 4 legendary heroes rose to resist a great evil. They fought through a great deal of trials and tribulations to hold back this evil for as long as they could to buy time for their allies in the West. However, they could not hold this evil forever. Ceserac, Tyrant of Chaos, rose up on the far northeastern continent of Teridia. He crushed the peaceful nation of Luntin and gathered all creatures of hate and despair to his side. He fought a long and brutal battle with the heroes of legend, eventually forcing them to retreat west across the sea, back home. Upon gathering his full strength, he invaded the western continent and pillaged another nation, Algonil. As the nations of the continent squabbled over what to do, he built the Alex Spire, which drew its magical powers from the heat and chaos of the nearby volcano, named the Blazing Pinnacle. After the nations of the western continent came together as the First Concordiat, they marched to aid the capital of Algonil, Algost. There, the heroes of legend reached their final chapter. The accounts of what happened at the Battle of Algost are muddled at best and completely lost at worst. What is known for sure is that Ceserac was defeated by the heroes of legend. The histories of the heroes following that day are mostly lost, save for a monument or a burial site, although Teridia lives in peace today. The odd show of evil creature here and there across the world is causing fear to surface in the populace once more. Whispers can be heard in seedy taverns, thieves' dens, and bandit enclaves. Ceserac returns. However, it seems that these warning signs are not noticed by the old nations of the First Concordiat, or their governments are just too large to notice at this point in time. Perhaps the rumors are just that, though. Rumors. The average citizen can only hope that the peace remains. The only fact that is known for certain about the heroes of legend and the Battle of Algost is that they used the mythical Sword of Creation to defeat Ceserac. The historians claim that the heroes were assisted by a being of untold power, only known by the name Taramis. However, this comes from a ripped page in the diary of a soldier who claims he was there that day, and the page is very damaged.
Holy shit, I thought I was coming to play some beginner Dungeons and Dragons. I feel like you just sucked me through a portal into Middle-earth or something. Boromir, help please. I need you to take these arrows from my small and frail body. I'm only level 3.
Bush, we're only 9 minutes into the first episode. Sean Bean isn't allowed to die yet, He has to make a certain time quota in each movie/show he's in before he can die off.
Yes, yes, very funny. I die in the majority of films and shows I star in.
Better buckle up on that one, Sean. They're going to keep hitting you with that shit bus off and on through the whole campaign.
That was so beautiful, Sean Astin. I'm going to write so many poems and ballads as a fancy music man in this game.
I honestly don't even understand how you've made that bloody mistake with my name.
But Obama said you were the Sean that acted in The Lord of the Rings, right?
Yes, Joe, but there's two Seans acting in Lord of the Rings. Look, we'll talk about it later and get this fixed up. Sorry about this, Sean.
Yes, definitely later indeed. I'm going to have to make sure to bring a more open and patient mind for Session 1. That'll conclude our Session 0, gentlemen. I bid you a safe car ride back home.
I believe that's our cue to clean up and get out, guys.
Come here, Joe. I'm gonna staple a fucking post-it note to your fucking forehead with Sean Bean's name on it.
Obama, help. He actually has a freaking stapler. Trump, stop. I got 3 Big Macs and 2 shakes in it for you if you give me the stapler.
All right, Obama, here's the stapler. You got yourself a deal.
Damn it, Obama, that was going to be some sweet-ass World Star footage and you ruined it.
Oh man, that was freaking awesome. What an absolute wonderful first episode. Hopefully you people outside the screen over there enjoyed what you saw. Who am I kidding? Of course you did. It's me you're watching. Since you did enjoy what you saw with your eyes and heard with your ears, hit that sub button, smack that like button, and smash that alert button. You're not going to want to miss what Pax and Maradona cooks up in Session 1.